Hi, and welcome to our Retired Nomad Adventures.
I'm Retired Rick.
And I'm Daphne, and today we're coming to you with our monthly Can We Live Here video. So whenever we stay in a place for 28 days or a month's time, we evaluate based on a list of criteria whether or not this is someplace that we could live.
And when we talk about living here as a place to live here, we're talking about 3 months at a time. So right now we're just traveling 28 days at a time, but could we come back here and stay for 3 months at a time?
Yeah, so we were hoping to find some places that are kind of, we could put on a rotation. And so could this be a place like that for us? All right. So first, let's start off with why did we even come to Cabanas de Tavira? And so I'll say for us that in the very beginning, when we thought about this lifestyle and doing what we're doing, we had originally thought about retiring abroad or at least spending half of the year somewhere and half of the year back in the United States. And Portugal was top of our list. And one place that kept coming up over and over again, we kept hearing people say that Cabanas de Tavira or Tavira was a place that they really felt was a charming village that you really could settle down and retire in. So it was on our short list of places that as we're traveling through Portugal, we wanted to make sure that we stopped and saw. So we're here now. All right, so we have some criteria, so we'll take you through that. So first of all, we talk about the population. And so this is a very small town.
Small and quiet. There's the population is around 28,000.
Yeah. And so I think it's even classified maybe as a village. So it has that very community, small town feel to it. Something else we look at is crime. So
we are in Portugal, so
we didn't even look
really
up the statistics because it is so safe here. Like Portugal is known as one of the safest countries in the world, but in particular, this little spot in Portugal feels so very safe. In fact, Rick has been golfing a lot, and so I've been by myself a lot, and I have had no problem at all going out on my own, walking around the town, and don't feel unsafe even a little bit. So we didn't even look up the crime stats. It is feels very, very safe. I wonder if there is even any crime here.
I'm sure there is. There is.
Okay. All right. So then the other thing we take a look at is the climate. So what do you?
Oh, it's the climate is since we've been here, it's been in the mid 70s, sometimes up in the 80s. It's a beachy feel. It's
got beautiful weather, right?
I mean,
if we're here right now.
I think that's why people come here is because of the weather is so nice.
Yeah. We're here right now, mid-September through mid-October, and today we're now like heading right. We're right up on the cusp of mid-October now, and so today is the first time that we had some actual rain. We're thinking we're going to go out to dinner tonight, and Rick will probably put pants on for the first time since we've been traveling.
Yeah, this will be the first time. I went out on the balcony and I was thinking, well, maybe I should put pants on today. So this might be the first time I wear pants while we've been on our travels.
Yeah. So I know that January and February are wet and cold months here, but we're here at the end of the summer season, and mid 70s I'd say is where we've kind of been. We had a couple of beach days where it was 81, and the sun feels very hot here when it's out. And in January, they say typically it's like 45 to 55 degrees. So that would be cold. That'd be very interesting to see. But for right now, the climate is perfect. Yes. Okay. Then the next thing we always look at is it near water? So yes and no. So
yes, it is near water. There's a beach that we walk to just like anything else. It's a little further. It's about 15-minute walk to the beach. But the problem is there's a lagoon in between land and the beach. So,
so you have to
take a little taxi. So you have to plan your day, or you just can't walk to the beach. You have to kind of take a taxi over to the beach, a boat taxi over to the beach, and then spend your time at the beach, which is beautiful, and then come back. So it's not just super easy, but it's not hard at all.
And then when you get over to the beach is amazing. So it's 4 miles in length, and it's what they call a blue beach. And so I had never actually heard of this before. So it's what they call a blue beach, or blue flag beach, sorry. And that means it's known for being clean, safe, and having clear water. And I would say that's true. The water was clear. You could see the seashells you wanted to get through the water. Also, it was warm. Like the water was warmer than any of the other beaches we've been to.
Yeah, at first, when you're outside the water and then you go into the water, you think it might be a little chilly, but then as you're walking in it, you're like, you know what, this isn't bad at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like a bath water.
No.
It's still cold, but it's warmer than
Yes.
most. Very easy to get into, and so it's a beautiful beach when you get to it, but it's not. I wouldn't say we are definitely surrounded by water,
Yes.
but we have to make a little journey to get to it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So water is important. I think it's more important to me than it is to you, but
Yes.
I really want to be a place where we're very close to water. Okay, public transportation. So I would say it's a little limited here, but only because of the size of the town that we're in. So they don't have like a huge public transportation system, but you are in a small place, so you don't necessarily need that. And for us, I mean, ideally, we are less than 3 minutes away from a train station. We came here from Portimao on the train, and we took less than 5 minutes to walk with our luggage from the train station to our Airbnb. And this train runs up and down the Algarve coast. And so you can get anywhere you want to get in the Algarve on that train.
It's nice and easy. You just walk down there and you either have the app that you can purchase tickets on, or it looks like you can purchase tickets on the train itself. Taking the train is super easy, and coming back, several times we've taken the train down to the next town to go to a bigger supermarket, and then getting all of our groceries, and then taking an Uber back.
And the Ubers are super. I mean,
You're not waiting a long time for the Ubers, just like anywhere else. The Ubers show up and take you right home. So.
It's hard for us to compare to the cost of the Ubers back in the United States versus here, because we don't ever use Ubers in the United States. We have our car. But the cost of the Uber feels very inexpensive. It's typically like around €5 to go from one town to the next.
Right.
And so it feels very inexpensive and really quick and easy to do. And they do have a bus system, and that bus system will take you to sort of the nearby towns. But the service on the bus system is limited, and then especially in those off-season months, they just don't run as frequently, so you just have to pay attention to the bus route.
And we would like to get used to using the bus, but we're just kind of leery about it because we don't know how to pay for it. I'm sure it's just paying with your credit card, any of that stuff, but it's just we haven't really taken the bus. We've relied on the train and relied on Uber. So.
And our feet. And we walk everywhere. It's funny, we talked about this, and I think that this is very typical of sort of our age group, Americans. We don't want to inconvenience anyone. And so the idea of getting on the bus and not exactly knowing what we're supposed to do, and the fact that we could hold people up, is just that little step that we have to kind of get over. So we haven't really used buses much.
Once we get over that, we'll be fine.
Yeah. Okay. So then the other thing that's always important to us is to know, like, how far is it from the airport? And so the airport that you would use here if you were coming here would be the Faro Airport, and I want to say it is only 29 miles away. So Faro is only 29 miles away, and we did a transfer on the train when we came from Portimao, so we went to Faro. Well, we didn't have to change trains, but there was a transfer there, and it was only it was less than an hour from Faro on the train here. So the Faro Airport is very close. Yeah. So I would say that that's a big plus for here. Okay, then the next thing is, like, what is there to do here? Like, what are the activities? And I'll let Rick start us off on this, because I feel like this is the golden ticket here for Rick.
And then one of the reasons we chose this area is it had a golf course really across the street from where we're at. So with that said, I've been golfing 4 or 5 times. It's the first time I've been golfing since we've been on our travels. But it really is nice just walking over to the golf course and playing around a golf. So I'm able to get my steps in because I walk. Daphne's not able to get her steps in, and she complains about it. But I have offered to take her phone with me so she can get credit for her steps.
Yeah,
but
it doesn't
she doesn't
quite
want to
help.
do that. Doesn't feel the same.
And so the golf has been a real big plus for you. And so that's an activity, and it seems that there's a lot of expat and community groups that are golfing. And so I feel like for people who choose Cabanas or Tavira, that's probably a big draw for them. Okay, so activities that you can go on beach days, right? There's water sports. You can do kayaking, paddleboarding, all of that good stuff. There's also the Ria Formosa Natural Park, which is a place where you can go hiking, and it's also really known for bird watching. So if there's anybody who's into bird watching, that is very big out here. There's lots of places where you can rent bikes. They have, what are those things called? The salt flats. Like you can go riding your bikes through the salt flats and also through the Formosa forest area. So lots of bike riding, and we've seen lots of like electric bike tours going on. So biking is big. Lots of boat tours that you can take. There's even a little center where you can book excursions, like different van kind of tours also. And then there's fishing, and then of course a hobby or an activity that we tend to do a lot is eating. We sample the local cuisine.
And at-home wine tasting.
Yes, yes, lots of wine tasting. But there are some wineries local that you could take tours to also, so some wine tours. So those are some of the things that you could do here. And then nearby, the Algarve is open to you here. So because the train is goes along the coast of the Algarve, there's really not any place in the Algarve if you wanted to get to it that you couldn't get to it from here. In fact, you could even walk down the beach and end up in Monte Gordo, which is a beautiful town in the Algarve also. So lots of nearby places that you could go to. All right, so so I just said our favorite activity is maybe the food scene, and so what would you say about the food scene here?
It's really, I mean, it's Portugal, so you're gonna have fish, seafood, pasta. It's fantastic. One of my favorite meals was the favorite meal I had was the shrimp tacos. But then
last week's video, we showed you that we took you on a day out with us, and so we took you to our favorite restaurant, and so you could see those fish tacos that I think are like they're lying to us. I think it's actually lobster. It's delicious.
But another meal that I really liked was a pasta dish. It was like a black pasta and seafood. So it had really good spices in it, and it was just really good, really flavorful.
And I tried two things here that are new to me that I've never had before. And one of them that we see on the menu all the time, everywhere we go, we see cuttlefish. And so I tend to be a creature of habit. So once I find something I like, then we keep going there because I like it there. And then I tend to get the same dish over and over again. And so we had gone back to a place in Tavira for the second time. And I was going to order, I told Rick, I'm choosing between this dish, which is a dish I already had that I loved, or this other dish. And the other dish was cuttlefish. And he said, get something different this time. Try the cuttlefish. Oh my gosh.
She would not like, she just not like cuttlefish.
So what did you compare it? It was like rubbery.
It's like octopus. It's kind of rubbery and not really flavorful. You could taste the grill, but it's really no flavor to it.
Yeah, and I would say it's a mainstay dish. It's on all of the menus, and so people must really like it. I did not love the cuttlefish, and then we looked up a picture.
I ate it for her, but I wasn't a lover of the cuttlefish.
And then you pulled up a picture of the cuttlefish, and it looked exactly like what it tasted like. Yeah, yes. It looked. So if I didn't see the picture, I probably wouldn't have ordered that. But then I did order another dish that I've never had before, and it's on a lot of the menus also, and I don't think I'm going to be able to pronounce that right. Bacala à bras. So it's basically a cod dish, and it's like a comfort food here. I think of it like our version of macaroni and cheese. And so it is shredded cod, scrambled eggs, grilled onions, and potatoes, and shredded potatoes. And it's kind of mixed together. They serve it in different ways. Typically some lettuce or a salad is kind of around it, and it's kind of in the middle of it, and then they top it with black olives. And I've had that several times. That is a new dish to me, and it is delicious. So I think that's one we'll try to make at home. I'd say there's a nice mix, right, of really casual places. Like what we think of when we say a snack bar in the United States is, I think of like a football game and there's a snack bar. Here, a snack bar is just sort of a local restaurant, and it'll have the name of the local restaurant, and then it's a snack bar. So they have lots of local restaurants with typical traditional Portuguese food, and then there's upscale restaurants also. So you can get Italian, Indian,
pretty much
anything you want, and then of course there is a lot of nice coffee shops with pastries and that you can get also. So food scene is great. Okay, so next thing we look at is healthcare, and so healthcare, it's Portugal, so they're worldwide, they're ranked in the top. One time when I looked, it was top 3, and I'm worried to say that, but definitely in the top 10. So their healthcare is top notch. Here, though, in Cabanas de Tavira, it's just a small town, so there is not a hospital, but there is one just next door, less than 6 miles away in Tavira. And then there's a renowned hospital in Faro. So that, what did I say? That was 20 minutes away.
Yeah.
So there's plenty, plenty close to us. And then there's lots of small clinics that you can go to. In fact, we saw one in the mall, right?
Yeah.
There was that full professional, active healthcare clinic in the mall. So I feel like we'd be fine if anything happened. And we also should tell you that we purchased Cigna Global for ourselves, so that's what we're using.
Silver plan.
The silver plan, yeah. We added a couple of pieces to it, including an outpatient care, so that if we needed to go to that healthcare center in the mall, we'd be able to. We have a high deductible, so we'd have to pay for that, but
out of pocket. But yeah,
but still, that's what we chose, was the Cigna healthcare. All right. So how about the cost of living here?
It's Portugal, so it's pretty much the same as where we were. We just came from Portugal, so it's pretty much the same as we looked at everything. It's really the same.
Yeah, it's so the cost of living is great here. It's they say it's generally lower than big city places like Faro or Lisbon. We're going to Lisbon next month, so we'll let you know on that. So the typical salary here, they say, is about $1,400 a month for a Portuguese citizen, and then teachers make just under $40,000 a year. So kind of you can have that as an idea in your mind. So because we're travelers and we're here for a short amount of time, the cost for our rent is of course going to be higher than somebody who's signed a lease for a year or who own their own home. And so the cost for our 2-bedroom, beautiful Airbnb, we do have a video on that where we take you on a tour, but a beautiful Airbnb, 3 minutes from the train station, 5 minutes from the golf course. We paid a total of $2,168 for this for 28 days. And that was with a 30% discount. So I feel like that was really good, and it's comparable to what we paid last month. And
this Airbnb is just it's just like living in your own home.
Perfect. Yeah. Very.
And everything. It's as if we had bought a condo
ourselves.
And decided to live here.
Yeah, it's great. Okay, so what I have been told is that you could reasonably expect to spend about $900 a month on an apartment, a 1-bedroom apartment, if you were able to sign a year's lease. So, compared to the United States, oh my goodness. So that's fantastic. And then I'd say our meals out are typically costing us anywhere from $35 to $45, and that's with us getting 1 or 2 drinks, 2 really nice meals, and maybe an appetizer. So $35 to $45. And our most expensive meal, we said $64.
But
that was delicious. And that was one where we had, I had got a Thai shrimp dish, and I saw the price of it, and I had seen a man eat it a couple nights before, and I had been thinking about it.
It was double the price of everything else.
Yeah. So that was unusual.
It was worth it.
But it was absolutely worth it. It was delicious, and it was big enough. You could have got it for 2.
And we're finding out here when we go out to lunch or dinner, we're ordering appetizers and a main meal, and then maybe a couple of drinks versus just a main meal and then a drink each. So.
Yeah. So I feel like
we're kind of ordering more food and paying about the same as
yes, we're getting more for our money. Yeah, that's true. And then a loaf of bread here is about $2. Eggs, a dozen eggs are about $2.50, and then my favorite thing is the wine here is under $2 for a liter bottle of delicious wine. So you can't go wrong with that. And then we always like to share with you the cost of, we say we're always going to share with you the cost of a haircut, but... I
haven't got a haircut. I need a haircut, but I haven't got a haircut. And we haven't really found a lot of barbers around here.
So what Rick loves is to go to like a local, old-timey, just a barbershop. And so we have seen lots of hair salons, but no barbershops. And we did...
And it's hard because our next stop is Lisbon, and I know that there's a barbershop there that I went to last time, and I'm going to get my hair cut there. So I'm kind of letting it just
do its thing.
I'll wear a hat if I need to.
We did see when we were at the mall, there was a barbershop there, and I poked my head in to just see how much it was so I could tell you how much a barbershop haircut cost, and it was $15.
Right.
So that's that. I will say that I did color my hair with my Box L'Oreal hair color yesterday, and the box of L'Oreal hair color was $11, and so I think that's cheaper than in the United States. But okay, and so I think that was it for things we wanted to talk about in terms of cost. So now that brings us to the end. Could we live here? So I'll let you. Do you want me to start, or you want to start?
Well,
could you live here?
I mean, could I live here? Remember, 3 months at a time. That's what we're basing "could we live here" on. And for 3 months, no, I don't think I could live here. I think I would get a little bored. There's stuff to do for me golfing, but other than that, there's not much to do unless you go out and spend more money and do that. So for me, for my interests, could I live here for 3 months? No, but definitely I could come back here for a month at a time.
Well, and I think that the overall vibe here is really like peaceful and
Yes.
calm and relaxing. And so I think if you were looking for a place to get away and you really wanted to unplug and you wanted to relax, this is the place to come. I'm surprised. So Rick, you joined a golf club. So he bought a golf membership so that the golf would be cheaper. So the golf was like €100 a game,
Right.
because we're here during the weather has changed, so it's not quite so hot. So
Last month it would have been €50 per game, which what I'm paying now because I joined the membership. But it does change with the season.
yeah, so we're here
this
on a
is
high cost season. So he paid €150 to become a member for a month, so that then when he golfs, it's only €50. And so so that was a good deal. And so I would have thought with the golf for you, you'd have been like, I could live here.
Yeah, no, I like the golf, but it's.
No,
I don't know.
still
Yeah,
no.
it's,
Okay.
it's, it's, it's
So
still
for
golf.
me, it's too slow of a pace for me, long term. And again, if we'd been doing something hectic, and we wanted to come back someplace for a month, this again would be the place. But for long term, it's going to be a no
A month
for me.
is really perfect. We've been here almost a month, and it's really it's fantastic.
Yeah.
But for longer than that, I think it'd be tough.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so that's the verdict. We're going to give it a no, and yet we still love it.
Yes.
So we want to thank you for joining us today. We hope that this has been helpful. If you're considering coming here, hopefully some of this will help guide you in your decision-making process. And then we would love to invite you to join us again next week when we go over our budget and let you know. So our budget is $5,000 a month, and that is for everything. And so we'll share all of our costs with you and let you know if we met our budget goal. So we thank you for joining us on our Retired Nomad Adventures, and we hope to see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.